Is hypothyroidism is a condition where the thyroid gland produces and releases like excessive amounts of thyroid hormones such as TR and T4, which TR means like thyroid 9 and thyroxine. And these hormones regulate like many like body functions like metabolism, heart rate, temperature, and energy levels. Its history and prevalence. Patients with grave disease often have more marked symptoms than patients with thyrotoxics. In the 19th century, the link between thyroid problems and metabolic disturbances became clearer, with grave disease being identified as the most common cause of hyperthyroidism. Graves' disease is basically like an autoimmune disorder in which thyroid receptor antibodies stimulate TSH receptors, increasing thyroid hormone production. And according to this article that I found by Kahali, Graves' disease diagnostic and therapeutic challenges, basically, quote, Graves' disease is the most common cause of hyperthyroidism in the United States. Grave disease occur more often in women with a female and male ratio of 5 to 1 and a population prevalence of 1% to 2%.
Normal function of the thyroid gland. Endocrine regulation HPT. The hypothalamus releases TRH, which is a thyrotropin releasing hormone. The pituitary releases TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which this will stimulate the hormone. The thyroid produces T3 and T4, which regulates growth, energy, and metabolism. T3 and T4 are the hormones that maintain metabolic balance, body temperature, energy usage, and heart rate. When levels of T3 and T4 rise, they will signal the hypothalamus and pituitary to reduce the release of TRH and TSH, and this will maintain the balanced hormone levels. Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder where the body produces thyroid-stimulating antibodies, which acts like TSH, which stimulates the thyroid to produce too much T3 and T4. Thyroid nodule, unusual growth that produce thyroid hormones on their own with no regulations. When the TSH levels are low, then the thyroid continues to produce hormones. Thyroiditis, inflammation that causes the thyroid to release the stored hormones. The inflammation will cause excessive release of stored T3 and T4, which will disrupt the balance in the feedback loop. Iodine uptake. The thyroid gland usually takes iodine from the bloodstream, which is what helps produce the thyroid hormones. In hyperthyroidism, the thyroid may become overstimulated, often because of autoimmune diseases or other factors, which will lead to excessive iodine uptake and unregulated thyroid synthesis. T4 to T3 conversion. The body can convert T4, which is the less active form, into T3, which is the strongest thyroid hormone, throughout the actions of enzymes. In hypothyroidism, T3 has a stronger effect on metabolism than T4. This will change metabolic activities like break down fats, sugars, and proteins for energy. Hormone axis. This is the elevated levels of T4 and T3 in the blood, which are produced by the thyroid gland.
Symptoms on hyperthyroidism. So one of them could be weight loss. You could have increased appetite, irregular heartbeat. So you may feel your heart racing or even at rest. Nervous or anxiety. So you are unable to stay calm or still, like such as shaking your legs. Also insomnia. So you have trouble falling asleep, or you're falling asleep but you just keep waking up. Your hair could be thinning and then have very weak nails. So you will notice like your hair is falling more than usual. Like the amount is greater that's falling off. And then diarrhea, you could have bloating stomach, excessive sweating more than usual, or feeling super hot. Maybe you're just sitting down and you're not even moving, and you're out of nowhere start feeling super hot. And then last but not least, tremors. You have shaky hands or fingers.
Prognosis for hyperthyroidism is generally good with timely diagnosis and treatment. Most patients with hyperthyroidism respond well to treatment and achieve normal thyroid levels. With proper treatment, most patients can live full and healthy lives. However, some patients may need to make lifestyle modifications and take antithyroid medications along term to maintain the hormone balance. Types of treatments depend on age or symptoms. Antithyroid medication blocks the production of thyroid hormones. Radioactive iodine therapy involves administering a small amount of radioactive iodine, which destroys the thyroid cells and reduces hormone production. Beta blockers are used to manage the symptoms of hyperthyroidism. And then a thyroidectomy is the most extreme form of treatment where the entire thyroid gland is removed. This is considered when all other treatments are ineffective.
Hyperthyroidism results from excessive secretion of T3 and T4, leading to systemic effects on metabolism and homeostasis. This excessive secretion of T3 and T4 enhances mitochondrial activity, higher ATP production, and increased oxygen consumption, which contribute to the hypermetabolic state seen in hyperthyroidism. Thyroid hormones are closely connected to and influence ion balances by enhancing sodium and potassium activity. This increases, as stated before, ATP consumption and heat production. This enhanced pumping of ion can lead to increased neuronal excitability, which is directly correlated to symptoms like anxiety, tremors, and hyperreflexia, and increased heart rate due to changes in cardiac channel function. Graves' disease is the most common in hyperthyroidism. It occurs when TSIs try and mimic TSH, leading to uncontrolled activation of the thyroid stimulating hormone receptors. This results in extreme production of T3 and T4, causing a hypermetabolic state. More on Graves' disease. As stated before, we do see an increase in sodium, potassium, and ATPase activity, leading to excessive ATP breakdown, contributing to symptoms like restlessness, muscle weakness, and tremors. More symptoms include bulging eyes due to swelling in the extraocular muscles and connective tissue behind the eyes, and weight loss, even though there's an increase in appetite.